Guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is episode 7 of Know Your Author series, and today we have with us Nazhah Khawaja. She's a poet, she's a writer. The Other Side of Life is her debut novel. She's also a mom of two beautiful kids. So let's know Nazhah, more from Nazhah herself. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we have with us Nazhah Khawaja. She's a Pakistani American author. She's born and raised in Chicago. She's also an ex-editor of Demurus website. She's a Zumba dance fitness instructor. She has business degree from DePaul. She also spent a couple of years living and teaching in Pakistan. She's also a writer, poet, and a mom to beautiful kids. The Other Side of Life is her debut book, and we would like to know more from Nazhah. Yes.
Salam
Welcome.
alaikum. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Sana, for having me on. I'm so honored to be
I was
here.
so looking forward to have you actually.
Oh, thank you. That means so much. Thank you so much.
So, how was your childhood? Where was it? And were you
Yeah.
shy and
Yeah,
extrovert?
it was, it was an interesting childhood, growing up with immigrant parents who have left their country, come to a new country, and just trying to survive without knowing the language, without knowing the culture of the people, without knowing where to get halal food, halal meat. And so it was interesting because you're kind of just rolling with the flow at that point, and our parents did as best as they could. There's four of us, so I have three other siblings. And I just remember just playing a lot, whatever when you're kids, it's you don't understand the seriousness of the situation until you're older and you're looking back and you're like, wow, especially now being a parent and like having to care for my own children, thinking about my work and my financial stability and like what I want to be there for them, I want to raise them. So everything is definitely just in perspective now that I'm a parent. But so that was kind of the childhood. I would say I was an introvert. And although I wasn't like, so my mom tells me that I was like very confident and bold, but I just didn't talk a lot, so when I was asked, I was able to answer when I needed to present something in front of the class or on stage in school. I was able to do that, but I was an introvert. I was just a quiet
Okay.
kid. Yeah.
So you had a mix of both the worlds.
Yeah,
Like
I
you
and I
spoke
and
when it needed to, and you know what you have to do it, and you do it well.
Yeah, and I feel that now too. Like I like to have my own alone time. But I also like meeting new people, networking, talking about new projects. I was an event before the pandemic. I was an event planner for a couple of nonprofit organizations. So like just getting together with the people that I need to be able to make an event happen, and being I emceed before, so being in front of the large groups, like I'm able to do that, but then I need to go into like a
Your
quiet
own
dark
space.
space
Yeah. You need to
afterwards.
go to your shell to relax and be yourself.
Yes, exactly. So
So what's your favorite book or books?
I would say all of the books by Toni Morrison. She's an African American author. And my favorite book of hers is Beloved. It was a book that growing up, I couldn't finish because it hurt so much, or there was so much pain, and there's so many things that really really didn't sit inside of my heart. I had to stop reading it, and no other book has done that to me, honestly. And so I would say Beloved. And then I picked it back up and finished it in college, I would say. So many years later I finished it. um but it was just one of those books that kind of really tear apart your soul, and you're like trying to piece it together as you're trying to finish reading it, because it's just you
I
you
had
have
similar experience with Elif Shafak's book Three Daughters of Eve, because it then makes you question your faith so much. She puts all the perspective of
Oh,
doubters and believers and non-believers and who
oh,
are in between. So it was a difficult read for me because it was asking, I mean, the question that I never asked myself, being a
yes.
believer, that is like going to the other side, because we are grown up with that thing that, okay, if you ask this, this is haram, or if you
Yeah.
ask this, this is wrong, this is bad. We are not raised up with a questioning mindset, with that
No, it's
critical
true.
thinking. Like
It's
critical
true.
thinking is like going to hell.
Yeah,
So
and that's not okay. I
it's
think
not
you should
okay, it's not okay.
no, you should
No.
encourage the questions and encourage the discovery of
Yes,
those answers to those
absolutely.
important questions because these questions are difficult, and just because you're
Yeah, so
questioning,
it was
yeah.
difficult for me to read that book, and I was like, I'm doing the right thing or wrong thing. I am
Okay.
trying to answer those questions, and then I dropped it for some time, and then I came back to the book and I finished the book, and I liked the book.
Well, I'll have to read that. I haven't read that.
Yeah, I
I'll
mean,
have
it's
to.
Three Daughters of Eve. So I just picked it up like a random title because I liked her writing. I read her two of her other books, but I
Okay.
didn't know what I was buying
Getting yourself
into.
into.
Yeah,
But those
so
so those experiences are also the best experiences because a lot of times the books and the messages and the words come to you. You think you're picking something up because it's a choice that you're making, but I just feel like it's the entire universe coming together and like presenting you with something that you really need to hear or
yeah, I
to
mean, to
read or
wear those shoes of people who are in that doubtful situation between faith and, religion, and in that
Mhm.
zone, it was hard for me to go in there. But
Yeah,
I went
yeah.
in there, and then I came back, and it was a nice experience.
Yeah, yeah, and it's those authors who can really push you
Yeah,
beyond your scope of
true,
your
true.
comfort zone, I guess,
Yeah, it
or
was out of my comfort zone, you can say.
yeah. That's
Because
so
I
awesome.
don't see myself in the book there anywhere, but still to be, into
Yeah.
somebody else's shoes and read the book and understand.
Yes, yes. And it's important to understand perspectives, even if it's not your own.
Yeah,
It's important to know what it's like to be in someone's shoes. It's important to so that we can be more human with each other. And
yeah, respect each other and to
yeah,
living
exactly.
more peacefully with each other, to
Yeah.
coexist actually.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, that was heavy part. So let's come to a lighter question. What is your favorite food and drink?
I love this question. I was reading it. I was like, oh, I'm Pakistani and Punjabi. So, I love the food of the Punjab. I love the meat. I love, like gosh, the lamb or goat,
Yeah,
whichever one. I love any
the
dishes.
curries.
Yeah. And biryani,
Yeah.
kebabs.
Thank you. You are my person. I always ask everyone, and they say no. No, don't go to next to the Indian and Pakistani food. I'm like, tell me, biryani is your favorite food? Like, no.
Oh my gosh.
So
It's
I'm like,
always
oh,
gonna be. I
my
just love.
trouble story. But yeah, thank you that I found you a biryani lover.
We can,
I love
inshallah, we'll be
biryani
able
actually.
to meet in person and just have like just a lot of Pakistani Indian food.
Yeah,
And
me too.
hopefully one day that day will come and we can travel again. And I would love to meet you
Yes,
in
yes,
person.
yes.
Inshallah.
Till then, we will travel through our books.
Yes, yes. Everyone is turning to it, isn't it? Isn't it something?
Yeah.
Isn't it great to see? There's something that in Chicago someone came up with. Travel to different parts of the world in Chicago. So there are places in Chicago, neighborhoods where you can experience like the Chinese culture. There's neighborhoods where you can experience the Greek culture. So they put together like a travel guide for people living in Chicago to be able to experience different cultures because and just like in the books, right? Like we have it with
Yeah.
us. Sometimes we
But you
don't
never
have
think about it because you're always traveling somewhere
so,
else than your
somewhere
own
else.
city.
Yeah. And drink, I would have to say chai, and I would
You
have
are
to
my favorite person now. I
just
am
having
loving you.
just having the chai, and my kids know too, because I'm like, look, this is me and my chai time. Like,
Yeah. I also have
just
that time, and I don't want to see anyone at that time, right?
no. High five. I'm like, please, please, just don't talk to me.
Yeah.
Don't. like if it's not an emergency, let's wait 15 minutes. That's all I'm asking of you. So I would say chai. Chai just lets
Yeah,
me get
chai
into,
time is my me time also.
yeah, isn't it? Like do you drink it in the morning and the evening, or
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
My
I need,
ritual is like more after dinner. I have my me time and
yeah,
I make my
yeah.
chai, yeah, with
Yeah.
ginger and different things that I can add in there.
Oh, the ginger chai, especially in the winter months.
Yeah.
Oh, it feels so good. And it's
Like
very good for
especially
the immune.
these days I have like throat problem and
Oh yeah. Yeah,
so
yeah. It's very good for
ginger is
immunity.
my the
Yeah.
herb I would say. So what was the turning point in your life, when you thought I have to write this book? Because I see you were so active, all the time. You were a writer, you were a poet, you were, I think, volunteering for so many things. And then when
Oh,
did you
thank
decide
you.
that you should actually write a book?
Thank you. It was always part of that was always the struggle, was giving it the time that it needed when I had, while doing other things. And I'm sure many other writers can relate. You have to be a mom, you have to take care of the home, you have to work, you also have to, you want to do the things that you want to do. Nonprofit organizations, volunteering is very important to me. So making sure that I'm being able to just help in the capacity that Allah has given me. Like we all have qualities about ourselves, and like being able to take those qualities outside of yourself and apply it into your space and among your people and community is very important, I think. And so wanting to do that. But so I started the book a while ago. I can't even tell you how many years ago because it's so embarrassing. But
Not that
I
embarrassing. It's your
Oh,
journey, it's your story.
it's and it's just it was kind
Because
of
if I
like,
tell you that my book is lying from past 5 years with two chapters.
okay, so now yeah, exactly. It's just one of those things where I knew I had it. It was years ago that the words came to me, and I started it, but I could not follow along with it. I had the two kids, and then I think it was I had my daughter, and because I have two kids, but I had my son first, my daughter second. And it was such an interesting experience having a girl. um I was very fearful, and I did not expect that feeling, and it was very uncomfortable to me. Like, why should I be fearful? She's a girl, but it's just everything that I grew up with, right? Generational issues, the cultural issues about the female, and what to worry about, what she should do, what she shouldn't do, those cultural expectations, social expectations, familial expectations, from your family and friends. And so having my daughter really made me question, like, who am I as a role model to her? If I tell her to believe in herself, do what makes her happy, be a good person, am I doing those things? So that was the turning point to where I made a lot of different life decisions, including I was separated, divorced at the time. And it was a time where I just knew that I had to do what my heart needed to do, what my soul needed to do, in order to be comfortable with myself. And this kind of answers the other question too, about like, what is writing to me? It was being able to understand myself, but also be okay with who I am. So that's what writing does for me. It just reminds me of like this is who you are. It's okay. Because unfortunately, I grew up with what is writing? What are you gonna get paid? Like, is it gonna make you any money? And
Yeah,
and if
yeah. I know,
not,
I know all those questions.
yeah. Oh my gosh.
Like with this show, my mother was asking me, but what you will get out of this show? Are you being getting paid? I was like, no.
And I tried to tell my mom too,
Yeah.
and I needed her help, because obviously separated, divorced, I have two kids, and I wanted to write, so I needed her help with watching the kids, or like just you just need help, right? We're human, we need support, we need other human beings.
Definitely.
And she was just like, why would you spend your time doing this? And then when okay, so but if when she sees it now, this makes her happy, so she'll
Okay.
hold it, she'll look at it. I have a dedication to
That
her.
makes her
It makes her
proud. Yeah?
happy. Yeah, she's proud. But I'm
Good
like,
for
Ami, this is what I was telling you the whole time. when you were not giving me the support that I needed. And it's okay. They're from a different generation. And she had to come here and she struggled. You know, my dad died when we were very young, so she was a single parent to 4 kids, working full time. She went to school to get like an associate's degree, which is like a 2 year college type of degree, to be able to get a better job, to pay for, so for
Yeah,
her,
it may.
if yeah, for her,
Yeah.
like if there's no monetary value, it's not worth the time. It really is as simple as that for her. Um,
But I also
so
feel there is something more. For example, when you feel a lot of stress in your life for a long period of time, sometimes our parents, they don't oversee things or see in a wider view. Their scope of thinking becomes very
it's
narrow.
very, very narrow, very narrow.
So it happens. I see that in my family or, my whatever friends or circle. I see in India also, it's same thinking. And
Yeah.
I understand where it comes from,
We know
I'm
where it comes
totally,
from. We
yeah,
know where it
I know
comes
where, yeah.
from. And if you spend less energy trying to fight it and just know in your heart that you're going to make it different, then that energy is in the right place, I think,
Yeah,
because I think initially I wanted to fight it, right? I'm just like, no, this, but that wasn't, it's not going to change the mentality, and it's only going to take a lot of effort from me and energy that I could be using somewhere else. So I did realize, that I need to use that energy more wisely. And so, it took some time, but I did. So I would say that that would be, having a girl really put things in perspective, where I'm just like, okay, if she ever came to me with dreams, with aspirations, with worries, I want to be the person that she can come to, first of all. And I want to be the one that can tell her it's okay to do something that she feels like she cannot do for whatever reason, society, culture, And so
yeah.
then I just had to look inside, and I had to make those decisions for myself. And I did, and I'm very happy that I did.
I am so glad to know that, it's really nice to hear that. I mean, the story behind actually.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thank you for the listening ears. It's very
No,
thoughtful.
I can see myself there also. I don't have a daughter yet, but I have those thoughts that I have also problem with so much patriarchal
Oh,
culture that we
yeah.
have. And
Yeah.
I feel men are the most victim of that culture because they're not really thinking what they are really doing. So bringing up a
You
daughter in
know,
that culture,
that's very interesting. I didn't allow myself to think along those lines, but thank you for saying that. It's very true. Um, they're
I
just
mean,
born
more than
into
the
it.
women, they are the victim because they chose the role
They,
of the oppressor, or, they're not ready to think what they're really doing. I see
yeah.
women are progressing more. They are taking their time to grow intellectually, but men, they're stuck at women's clothes only.
Wow.
I was having a discussion on my Facebook with one of the friends, and she shared a post of somebody, that how men are only discussing women's clothes and nothing else.
Oh my
And women, we never even think about men or what they're wearing. We are so busy with us, our thoughts, and how to grow and grow intellectually.
Wow. That's gonna get that you gave me something to think about. It's something to look into. I appreciate that. I didn't Yeah, no, you're right. And I think there is a little bit of a trend now for, I think, especially people of our generation, Indian, Pakistani, of our generation, men and women are looking at human rights as human rights. And I think when you start to do that, then there's less issues about the gender roles.
Yeah.
I think there's less emphasis on gender roles when you just see each other as human beings, human. That's all we are. So I see that there is a shift, which is very beautiful to see among, like, the generations to come, because they're the future, right? Like, we're doing what we can now with what we have, and we're gonna move out the way. And then it's beautiful to see, this is the generation, right? They're protesting, they're out there, they're making changes in policy and reform, they're becoming educated to be part of that political change, which is dynamic.
Yeah, it's
So
really
it's
great
exciting.
to watch that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I follow the news both India and Pakistan.
Oh yeah.
Because I have so many Pakistani friends. I
Yeah.
watch Pakistani dramas. So mostly I'm connected with the Pakistani political scene. I have so many friends,
Uh,
I would say, who are reporters or feminists in Pakistan. So I know what's happening. Really, with that Aurat March that they do every year.
mm-hmm.
Uh,
And every year there's more media coverage. Before there never used to be
yeah,
media coverage. So
that's
now
true.
there's more media coverage. There's on an international scale. I am sitting in Chicago and I can see images from, the march sitting here that never used to happen.
True.
So this type of coverage and the awareness and the messages, and it makes it does make a difference slowly but surely.
Yeah, it's positive, I would say, and it's hopeful. There, I feel hope.
Yes.
Do you have something to read for us from your book?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Um yes, sure. There was a something that I read a little bit. Oh gosh. um so there was a chapter where there was a point in the book where the main character Farishte, she is in sitting in silence, and she needs this silence. Sometimes we all need silence, right? It's just like one of those things where you are you hear more in the silence than you would with
Oh.
the noise or voices or anything like that. So I love that passage. I don't have to find it. Okay. Mm, there's that one. There's this one too. Okay, so I'm gonna take a little a turn. um but there's so Farishte, in throughout the book, she is haunted by her mother's voice. I want to say the word haunted because not that because her mother was a very important figure in her life, but she didn't have enough time with her. And she remembers these messages. Her mother didn't speak much. When she did, it was always very poignant messages, just almost like she spoke in metaphors. And so first is at a time in her life where she really feels the need for her mom. And she's standing there and she feels her mom's presence. Um, Her voice is in my ear. She is next to me. I feel her. I feel the depth of her presence next to me. I close my eyes. I sit very still. I don't want her to leave. Do not leave, Amijan. Be here. Be here with me. Stay, Amijan. Stay. Let me tell you how sorry I am that I didn't fight for you, that I didn't try harder. Let me tell you about your grace, your endurance. Let me tell you about your strength. Let me tell you how much I admire your ability to create, to withstand, to hold your ground, to hold yourself. All alone, you held yourself all alone. Do not feel alone now, Amijan. You will never feel alone again. I promise you this. I am your legs, your arms, your voice. I am your advocate. I stand for you. I stand with you. I stand beside you. I will uphold your values. I will utter your name. I will keep you alive and strong. My kids will know their grandmother and what she faced so that they have a name, a place in this world. I will tell my kids that the blood that flows through their veins originated from a village in the mountaintops up north where the air breathes free. I will tell them about you. You have not gone. You have not disappeared. You are forever still. Dear Amijan, you guide my heart. I could not be me. I would not be me if it weren't for you. Through your silent resistance, I learned that the strength of a woman is no less humbling than the magnanimous stand of a mountain in the distance. Your fortitude in times of immense difficulty taught me that true power lies not in the active fight, but in collected resistance. Thank you, Amijan. Thank you for your life, for your lessons, for your words. They are the light in my life that helps me see the path in times of dimness. How desperately I wish I could convey how immensely my heart aches for you, for a glimpse, for but one more moment, just one more exchange of words. an instance of an interaction, a scolding, even the slightest touch. I yearn for you to tell me I speak too much and out of turn, that I will hurt because of it, that it will bring me no good. I yearn for anything. So
Oh, this is so beautiful. It's so intense and so beautiful.
thank you.
Thank
I
you.
wasn't.
Thank you for reading it for me and for us. And I see that your book is available on Amazon.
Yes, it's available on Amazon, Kindle version, paperback version. There were some issues with the international order, so if there's any issues, please let me know. You do have to use your own marketplace. Amazon can also put the order through for you if there are any issues. And this month, in honor of Women's History Month, I am donating half the profits of the sales of the book to Hope Charities USA. It's a nonprofit organization that helps mostly women and children in the underserved areas in Pakistan with things like medical clinics and vocational training, food and clean water, emergency relief, that sort of thing.
That's great.
Inshallah.
It's a great initiative, I would say.
Inshallah. I hope it helps those in need, and
Yeah, definitely.
and
We
you
should
guys,
like that.
everyone, just so appreciative of everyone who is purchasing and who's part of this initiative. It really, we all work together and we can make a bigger, better difference. Alhamdulillah.
Yes, definitely. And do you have a message for your readers and who are viewing this?
That's an interesting one. I would say do not let fear hold you hostage. And I'm guilty of this every single day when it comes to different things. But fear really prevented me from working on this book. Everything happens for a reason, and everything happens in its time. The time to publish was this year, or so alhamdulillah for that. But I do feel like I let fear hold me hostage for a very long time. And then the other message would be if something that you read or come across moves you or affects you, look into why it's making you feel this way and what you can do to assist, to help, to be part of a movement, to be part of a bigger project, bigger than yourself. Because sometimes it's those things that come to you because it needs you, these movements, these projects, these protests, or just these social issues. Like it comes to you because it needs you to help in the way that any way that you can. So pay attention to what moves you and affects you, and do more with those feelings.
That was great. And I
Thank
also
you,
think
Sana.
that we also need to be, it's our need also to be a part of those moments, because we also need a purpose, to be
Yes.
a part of a bigger purpose.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. And I think, if we're still here, I read somewhere, if we're still here in this world, it's because we still have a purpose to fulfill.
Yeah.
And sometimes those are, and they're ever changing, small things here and there, small projects. But you can impact a lot of different ways. So, inshallah. Yeah.
Inshallah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sana. Such a
I
pleasure,
will,
such an honor.
yeah, I